No one was supposed to be home. Maya Kim knelt beside the bathtub, her hands gently rinsing the shampoo from little Sofia's curls. The 2-year-old giggled, splashing water with tiny palms. Maya smiled, humming a Yoruba lullaby softly, until that voice sliced through the air like a blade. No one touches my daughter unless I say so. Especially not you. Welcome to Moonlit Stories, where moonlight meets myth. Love timeless tales? Then hit like, subscribe, and join the circle. Every story begins with you. The deep baritone froze her mid-motion. Her breath caught. Her heart thudded wildly in her chest. She turned toward the doorway, and there he was, Jihoon Kim, billionaire, reclusive widower, and father of the little girl in her arms, stood at the entrance, drenched in silence and storm. Dressed in a gray designer suit and black turtleneck, he looked every bit the cold corporate king Lagos society whispered about. But his eyes, they blazed with something far more dangerous. "What do you think you're doing to my daughter?" he demanded, stepping in. Maya rose quickly, wrapping a soft towel around Sofia's wet body. The child flinched at her father's raised voice, then whimpered as he pulled her from Maya's arms without warning. "I was just trying to help," Maya said gently. She was running a fever, sweating. There was no one around. The nanny had gone. Jihoon didn't listen. "You're not her mother. You're the maid. You scrub floors. You don't touch my child." Maya didn't argue. Her voice dropped to a whisper. She needed someone. "Get out," he snapped. "Pack your things. You're done here." Sofia buried her face in his shoulder and sobbed, not from the fever, but from the sudden loss. Maya watched, frozen, as the child clung to her father but looked back at her with trembling arms. "Mama!" Jihoon flinched. Downstairs, Maya folded her worn wrapper into her handbag. She said nothing. Not to the chef. Not to the guards. Not even to old Mr. Adewale, the quiet driver who met her at the door. "You all right?" he asked gently. "I only wanted her to feel better," she replied, her voice cracked but calm. Adewale nodded. "That's why he's angry. You did what he couldn't." She gave a faint smile and left. Back upstairs, Jihoon sat in his study, the silence echoing like judgment. Sofia lay asleep in his arms, but her breath was shallow and her cheeks were still hot. He looked at her and then at the empty hallway. He hadn't just walked in on a bathtub scene. He had walked in on trust, on warmth, on something he hadn't felt since losing Sukjae, his wife, 2 years ago in a car crash that changed everything. Now, his daughter cried for a woman he barely knew. A woman he had just cast out. And for the first time in a long while, Jihoon Kim felt something unfamiliar settle in his chest. Doubt. The rain hadn't stopped since dusk. Jihoon Kim paced the polished floors of his Akoi mansion, his daughter burning up in his arms. Sofia whimpered weakly, her curls damp with sweat, her head lolling on his chest. He had tried everything. Paracetamol, a cold compress, water, but she refused it all. Her body trembled. He checked the time. 11:42 p.m. The on-call doctor wasn't responding. The nanny had switched off her phone. Frank was off duty. Jihoon Kim was alone and terrified. "Sofia," he whispered, gently rocking her. "Daddy's here. You'll be okay." But she didn't open her eyes. She only murmured one word. "Maya." His throat tightened. He had thrown Maya out less than 10 hours ago. Called her a maid. Stripped her of dignity and purpose. But now, in the quiet terror of the night, it was her name his daughter called like a prayer. Jihoon Kim didn't hesitate. He pulled on a jacket, grabbed his keys, and carried Sofia to the car. The rain hammered his windshield as he sped across the bridge into Suralere. He remembered the address from her employment file. It was modest, a weathered building with flaking paint and a flickering porch light. He banged on the metal door. "Maya, Maya, please. It's me, Jihoon." Nothing. A second-floor window creaked open. Her voice floated out, calm but guarded. "Mr. Ade Williams." "She's sick," he shouted. "Please. I don't know what to do." The window shut. 2 minutes later, Maya appeared at the door in jeans and a sweatshirt, a tote bag over her shoulder. "What happened in the car?" Jihoon Kim replied, soaked, breathless. They didn't speak during the drive back. But when they arrived, Maya moved like she had never left. Straight to Sofia's room. No hesitation. "Hey, baby girl," she whispered, scooping Sofia gently from Gregory's arms. The child let out a soft sob, but then her breathing slowed. Her fevered body melted into Maya's chest like it had finally found rest. Jihoon Kim stood frozen, watching. Maya unzipped Sofia's pajamas, checked her temperature behind the ears, stroked her back. You tried giving her meds? She wouldn't take it. She will now, Maya said, and with a soft lullaby in Yoruba and Korean, she did. After Sofia had fallen asleep, Maya turned to him. I'll stay. For her. Not for you. Jihoon Kim swallowed. You didn't overstep. I did. Maya's eyes were tired. If I stay, it's with respect. No more shouting. No more shadows. I'm not here to be invisible. You won't be, he said quietly. You already aren't. She nodded once. Good. Then let's start again. And as the rain softened to a whisper on the roof, something else softened too. Not forgiveness. Not yet, but a beginning. By morning, the mansion no longer felt cold. The scent of fried plantain and ginger tea wafted from the kitchen as Maya stood in her loose blouse and jeans, stirring a pot on the gas stove. Sofia sat on the countertop beside her, giggling softly, nibbling on a slice of banana. Her fever had broken during the night, sweat-soaked sheets replaced with laughter and appetite. Jihoon Kim leaned against the doorframe, still groggy from a sleepless night. He watched the scene in silence. She's better, he said finally. Maya didn't look up. She needed to feel safe. He stepped forward. Thank you. I didn't do it for you. He nodded. I know. Maya plated the food, placed it on the table, and helped Sofia into her chair like she had always belonged. Jihoon Kim moved to sit across from them. She called you Mama, he said quietly. Maya froze, then resumed pouring water into a small cup. She's two, she said. Sometimes kids say what they feel, even if they don't understand it. Jihoon Kim stirred his tea absent-mindedly. Or maybe they understand more than we give them credit for. There was a pause, a heavy one. Maya, finally Saturday, what are you afraid of, Mr. Ade Williams? He blinked. No one had asked him that directly. I'm afraid of losing her, he admitted. Of failing again. My wife, Maria, she made it all look easy. The lullabies, the midnight fevers, the way Sofia clung to her like gravity. He glanced at Maya, and then she was gone. Just gone. Maya's expression softened. You haven't failed, but love doesn't come from control. It comes from presence. I don't know how to be present, he confessed. Then let her teach you. Jihoon Kim looked at his daughter, now sloppily feeding herself, laughing at the way the egg yolk dripped down her chin. And beside her, Maya, quiet, grounded, unshaken. She hadn't demanded a place. She had simply shown up until Sofia made space for her. Upstairs, the sound of high heels suddenly echoed from the hallway. Jihoon Kim stiffened. Frank appeared in the doorway. Sir, your mother is here. Maya rose slowly. I'll take Sofia to her room. But it was too late. Eleanor Ade Williams swept into the kitchen, her cream blouse crisp, her aura cold as glass. Her silver hair was pinned perfectly. Her eyes missed nothing. She looked from Maya to Sofia to Gregory. I heard rumors, she said, but I didn't believe them. Until now. Jihoon Kim stood firm. Mother! You let a maid mother your child, she snapped. Sofia whimpered, reaching for Maya. She's not a maid, Jihoon Kim said. She's someone who saved our daughter. Eleanor's gaze narrowed. We'll speak in private. Maya didn't flinch. That won't change what your granddaughter already knows. And with that, she turned calm, collected, and left the room. Sofia nestled in her arms. Eleanor watched her go. She's a problem, she said. No, Jihoon Kim replied, voice steady. She's the answer. The rain returned that night, light but persistent, tapping softly against the mansion's tall windows like a warning. Maya stood at the window of the guest room, arms folded, watching the droplets streak down the glass. Down the hallway, Eleanor's voice had long since faded, but the weight of her presence still pressed on every wall. She had been polite, surgically so, but her message was clear. Maya did not belong. Jihoon Kim had defended her. That surprised Maya more than she expected. A soft knock on the door pulled her from thought. It was Gregory. She's asleep, he said. Maya nodded. I checked on her 10 minutes ago. bunnies tucked in her arms. He smiled faintly, stepping into the room. He looked tired, worn but different, not as guarded. She used to call Maria Mama with the same voice, he said. Quiet, like a prayer she hoped someone would hear. Maya said nothing. Jihoon Kim hesitated. I wanted to ask you something. About you. She turned. I mean, who are you really? You're not just a cleaner. You knew how to read her fever, soothe her cries, even get her to take medicine. That's not training you pick up dusting staircases. Maya exhaled slowly. I studied pediatric nursing. Back in Seoul. Jihoon Kim blinked. Seriously. I had to drop out, she said. My younger brother had a neurological disorder. I became his caregiver until he passed. He sat on the edge of the window bench. You don't talk about it much, because people only see what they want. A maid from nowhere. Quiet. Disposable. You're none of those things. Her eyes met his. That's not what your mother believes. He sighed. My mother is obsessed with control, with legacy, but she doesn't live here. I do. And I know this house didn't start feeling alive again until you walked in. A moment passed between them, quiet and charged. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and froze. Jihoon Kim saw her face change. What is it? Maya showed him. A message. Just one line. You think Lagos will protect you? You're still mine. Her hands trembled. Jihoon Kim stood immediately. Who sent that? No name. No ID. But I know who it is. Tell me. His name is Leon. He was involved with my brother's disappearance. Dangerous. I testified in Seoul years ago under protection. Then I vanished. New name. New life. Gregory's eyes darkened. And now he's found you. I thought he never would, she whispered. Gregory's voice turned steel. He won't touch you. Not now. Not here. But he already has, Maya said. He's found my peace. And that's where he starts. Jihoon Kim walked to the hallway, called for Frank. Security gets doubled tonight. And tomorrow, I want a trace on that number. He turned back to her. You're not running again. This time we face him together. Maya nodded, but in her chest, the old fear had awakened. Her past had found her, and this time it wasn't knocking. It was coming in. The generator cut out at exactly 11:42 p.m. Jihoon Kim snapped awake in the study, startled by the sudden silence. No humming refrigerator. No air conditioning. No lights. Just the low rumble of distant thunder and the eerie stillness that followed a power failure. He stood slowly listening. Nothing. Until asterisk. Click asterisk. A faint creak on the far side of the house. He grabbed his phone. No signal. He moved toward the hallway, feet silent against the polished wood. The power outage wasn't random. Frank had installed a backup system just 2 weeks ago, triple layered with surge protection. This had been deliberate. In the nursery, Maya was already awake. Sofia stirred in her crib, whimpering from the heat. Maya reached to calm her, but paused, ears straining. Then she heard it too. Footsteps. Not Gregory's. Not Frank's. Heavier. Slower. She scooped Sofia into her arms and crept into the hallway. Gregory, she whispered sharply. He appeared from the shadows, flashlight in hand. Wine cellar. Go. Now. She didn't argue. Downstairs, Frank emerged from the security room with a stun baton and an emergency radio. Perimeter breach. Someone jammed the grid. I triggered the silent alarm. Police are 15 minutes out. Another noise, glass shattering. Maya locked the wine cellar door just as the front window exploded. Jihoon Kim turned the corner near the sitting room and stopped. There he was, Leon, older than the last time Maya had seen him, but just as menacing. Rain soaked his hoodie. His left hand held a crowbar. The right, a burner phone. You always did run toward the rich ones, he sneered. Nice palace. Jihoon Kim didn't respond. His stance shifted, body square. You're not getting anywhere near her, he said coldly. Leon smirked. Funny. She used to say the same thing about me. And then he charged. Jihoon Kim ducked, the crowbar missing his head by inches. He slammed his shoulder into Leon's ribs, sending him stumbling backward, but not far. Leon swung again, grazing Gregory's arm. They crashed into a bookshelf. In the hallway, Frank moved fast. He tackled Leon from behind, pinning him down with brutal force. Jihoon Kim stood over them, breathing hard. "You're done." Flashing red and blue lights painted the room seconds later. Armed police burst through the entrance, guns raised. Leon snarled, thrashing, but it was over. He was cuffed, dragged outside into the storm. Only then did Maya emerge. Sofia clutched tight to her chest, eyes wide with fear. Her gaze met Gregory's, his shirt torn, lip bleeding, but standing tall. "You okay?" he asked softly. She nodded. He moved closer. "You called yourself mommy in there." She blinked. "Sofia didn't correct you." Maya swallowed. "She just said, 'I know.'" Jihoon Kim reached out, cupping her hand. "Because she did, so did I." Outside, the storm faded to drizzle. Inside, the house exhaled, not in relief, but in resolve. They had held the line. Now they would hold each other. By morning, the rain had stopped, but the fallout had just begun. The headline broke before breakfast. "Attempted break-in at Billionaire's mansion. Is the new maid to blame?" Jihoon Kim stared at the screen, jaw tight. The article didn't mention Leon by name, just speculation, anonymous sources, and a photo of Maya cradling Sofia on the front steps, cropped to suggest something scandalous. Across the room, Maya sat quietly with Sofia on her lap. Her eyes were hollow, her back straight. Frank entered, placing a printout on the table. "Sir, there's more." Jihoon Kim playing house with help? New nanny, new problems. From Lagos to Seoul, the hidden past of Maya Choi Williams. "Where are they getting this?" Jihoon Kim demanded. "Somebody's leaking old court records." "Someone who knew her before," Frank replied grimly. Maya closed her eyes. "He said he'd ruin me before disappearing again." Sofia clutched Maya's sleeve tighter. Jihoon Kim stood abruptly. "This ends now." Within hours, he made a call to his PR team, to the board, to the press. By that evening, a new statement hit the media. "Maya Williams is not just a staff member," Jihoon Kim said in a televised clip. "She's the reason my daughter is alive and thriving. Anyone who questions her presence in my home questions my judgment as a father." The internet exploded. Some called him reckless. Others praised his honesty. Hashtags trended globally. Hashtag Mama Maya. Hashtag Still Blooming. Hashtag Gregory Speaks. Maya watched the clip in silence from the study. Her phone buzzed non-stop. Messages from old classmates in Seoul, from strangers, from women who had read the story and saw something of themselves in her. But praise didn't erase fear. "I didn't ask for any of this," she whispered that night as Jihoon Kim brought her tea. "I know," he said, "but you deserve more than hiding. You deserve truth." She looked at him. "What if it's not enough?" He reached into his jacket and handed her a folder. Inside, a legal petition. Formal guardianship rights for Maya over Sofia. Maya blinked. "What is this?" "Protection," Jihoon Kim said. "Recognition. If something happens to me, I want her to still have you." Her breath caught. "Gregory, it's not romantic. It's not symbolic. It's real." Her hands trembled. "Are you sure?" He nodded. "You're her mother in everything but name." It's time the world saw it too. And then, for the first time since the storm, Maya wept, not from fear, but from being seen. Outside, the tulips swayed gently in the wind. Inside, the lines were no longer blurred. They were being redrawn. Together, the auditorium lights dimmed, then rose in a soft amber hue. Maya stood backstage, fingers curled tightly around a folded speech. Just beyond the curtain, the hall was packed. Business leaders, philanthropists, and press. But also mothers, daughters, and women who had fought storms of their own. Jihoon Kim was seated in the front row beside Sofia, who wore a lavender dress and sparkly sandals. When she saw Maya peek out, she grinned and waved her stuffed bunny in the air. Maya smiled back. Her heart still trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of this moment. She was no longer hiding. A voice echoed over the microphone. "Please welcome the co-founder of the Still Blooming Foundation, Maya Choi Williams." Applause swelled as Maya stepped into the light. She took the podium, unfolded her speech, then paused. The pages trembled in her hand, not because she didn't know what to say, but because for the first time, she was saying it as herself. "Good evening," she began. Not long ago, I believed my story was something to run from. I changed my name, my country, my future. I thought survival was the goal. But then, I met a little girl named Sofia. A murmur of warmth from the crowd. She didn't care where I came from. She only cared if I stayed. And through her, I found the courage to stop surviving and start living. She spoke of her brother, of love lost, of danger faced, but also of the grace of second chances, of what it meant to be chosen by a child who didn't speak in credentials, but in trust. When she finished, the hall rose in silence, then roared with applause. Jihoon Kim stood, eyes glistening. Sofia clapped enthusiastically, shouting, "That's my Maya." Later that evening, back at the Ikoyi mansion, the three of them sat on the garden bench beneath the blooming tulips. Candle lanterns swayed gently in the warm breeze. "You were incredible," Jihoon Kim said softly. Maya smiled. "I didn't feel brave. I just felt ready." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a velvet box, but not the kind that made promises. Inside was a gold pin, a small tulip engraved with a single word on the stem, "Chosen." "For the foundation," he said. "For you." Her eyes welled. "It's perfect." Sofia leaned on her lap, half asleep. "Mommy, can I stay with you forever?" Maya kissed her forehead. "You already do." Jihoon Kim looked at them, his daughter's joy, Maya's grace, and felt the full weight of what they had built. Not perfection, but peace. No headlines, no boardroom strategies, just truth. And as the stars blinked into the Lego sky, the garden bloomed quietly beneath them. Not in ceremony, but in certainty. They had chosen each other. And this time no one, not legacy, not whispers, not fear, could take it away.